Wemby is on his way to San Antonio. In the air as we speak. Spurs are about to change. Let's talk about it with PJ Carlesimo, who joins us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. PJ, appreciate you taking the time with us today. I know you had a busy night last night. Great job on the draft coverage on ESPN Radio, and it certainly had a Spurs flavor to it with you and Corey, but just the idea of Wemby coming to San Antonio, for about a month, we've known that was going to happen. Have you had some conversations with Pop on how you think he's going to use Wemby?
No, not really, Jace. We talk about probably everything, but I think he's gonna get a chance to watch him, and I know we've seen him play, but again, until you see him in person and you see him playing with those other great young players that the Spurs have, I think it'll take a while to figure out exactly how they're going to use him, but Pop will get it sorted out. How come Joe gets the day off? What's going on?
Doing
all the work?
Well, that's exactly what it is. And now, granted, he's a family reunion on his wife's side in St. Louis that was scheduled a long time ago, because this is kind of when you want to work. You've got Wemby. You've got the number one pick. I mean, San Antonio Sports, they're going to get back to the days like when you were working here winning 3 rings. The excitement level here is off the charts.
It was unbelievable in New York. I can't imagine what it's like in San Antonio. So I'm looking forward to, I would think ESPN ABC, we're going to be back making trips to San Antonio next year. We better be.
Well, that's it. Well, I was talking about that. Mark Hestersher was on with us yesterday, who you do a lot of games with. And, welcome back, guys. It's been a couple years since you guys have been to San Antonio. And when you think about what Wemby means from the ESPN level, from the high NBA level, I don't know that we'll see the Spurs on, say, Christmas Day, but what does Wemby in his rookie year mean for the Spurs from the global NBA landscape?
It's huge. I would not be surprised if there is a Christmas Day game, to be honest with you. I mean, they're going to have to make a decision just how much better the Spurs can be. They're going to be better for sure, but I will be surprised if we don't. I mean, obviously, I've got nothing to say about what games are on, but I would hope. I'd love it if Kesty and I get to be there for that. But we're looking forward. There's 2 places I know we're going to be that we were not this year, and that's San Antonio and Denver. So I'm looking forward to it.
PJ Carlesimo joining us here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You look at Wemby and official a Spur now, knowing Greg Popovich and the Spurs way, and you see Wemby come in with a rock star-like following and the fame that comes with it. And some say, how is that going to mesh with the Spurs way? Tim Duncan knew he was Tim Duncan, but he didn't like the spotlight. Wemby seems to relish in it. How does that mix with what you know about how the Spurs run things?
Well, I think he's very lucky. Everybody in the beginning said, wow, how lucky the Spurs are. And there's no question, Jason. I mean, it's unbelievable that they found their way through and became the number one pick. But I think it's luckier for him. I don't think he could ask for a better situation, certainly in terms of coaching. That's not even debatable. You're talking the best coach in the history of the league. But I think Pop, having dealt with the expectations that were there years ago for David and for Tim, Pop having coached Tony when he came over. I remember vividly, I was still doing TV. It was before I was coaching. Doing TV, and Pop talking about the young French guy they got, and if I remember correctly, and I'm getting senile, Jason, but I think it was they brought me in. I was working with Greg Papa and Joel Myers. They brought us in to watch the last preseason game. I think it was Philadelphia with Allen Iverson. Our next preseason game, the last one, and Tony didn't play particularly well, and I remember going to the practice the next day and Papa RC asking me what I thought. And of course, in those days, this is when I was still doing TV. I said, I like him. And they knew I was just giving a Chamber of Commerce answer. And they said, no, what'd you think? I said, well, I didn't like him. And then I watched the practice, and, they went at it. It was a good practice, to getting ready for the first game, and he was unbelievable. And I said, wow. I said, I see exactly what you were thinking about. And I think it only took a couple of days for them to put him in the lineup. If I'm remembering correctly, he may not have started the first game or two. I don't remember.
I
But
think it was 6 games in, if I remember correct. 6.
Yeah, it wasn't long, and he had him in the lineup. And of course, they were dead on. They knew just how good he could be. And I just think for him, I asked him, the first question I asked him last night was, hey, look, I know you're saying the right thing all the time and you wanted to go to San Antonio, but really, a month ago when that lottery was done, like what? He goes, no, this is where I wanted to be. He said, I watched TP play here. I watched the Spurs for a long time. It's exactly where I wanted to be. And it was, it's a great thing. It really is. And I think that Pop and RC, because of the experience they've had, and I was kidding Tom James last night. I said, I don't think he's done anything since TD retired. I said, you're going to have to do something for a change, Tom. You haven't done a damn thing since Timmy retired. So you're back now. You're going to have to actually do some work. So I'm kidding him and Jordan last night. Yeah, it'll be different, but he thrives on it. It's unbelievable. He handles the publicity, handles all the people so well. He's so comfortable in his skin. And in that sense, he's very much like Timmy. He knows what he likes, he knows what he doesn't like, and he's real comfortable. And I know if it becomes necessary, they're going to do a good job, shielding him and keeping everything under control. Basketball is going to be the priority, and that's what he wants also. But if it ever gets to the point, and it may in the beginning, too many questions, too many demands on his time, how comfortable they'll be just shutting it down. They're just going to go, that's it. He's doing whatever it is, one interview a day or whatever the hell guidelines they set up, and those will be the guidelines. And fortunately for him, they will assist him in managing all this attention, all the stuff. But I mean, the league, and this is, Jace, it's not, I'm telling you, I was in Paris, obviously well before we knew the Spurs were going to have him for the game this year. And I'm traveling an awful lot outside the country now with my NBA Academy on that committee and visiting the various academies. This isn't an NBA story. This isn't like a U.S. story. This is international. I mean, it's absolutely incredible how many people are aware of him, know him by name, have watched him play in the French league, and want to see how he's going to do in the NBA. I mean, it is going to be incredible, the attention. If you think it's totally different. Remember when Yao came and it was a lot of it was just from China itself, but again, it was international. This is even more so, and he speaks so well. He knows the right things to say. It's going to be incredible, and you combine him with the young guys they got. With Devin and Jeremy and Keldon and Zach and all the guys they got. It's really going to be fun to watch. It's the first time I've ever said I was looking forward to going to Las Vegas for Summer League, and I'm obviously looking forward to, selfishly, I hope that Kesty and I get to do a bunch of games in San Antonio next year.
PJ Carlesimo joining us here on The Blitz, talking about Wemby coming to San Antonio. I want to go back to, like, you saw him in Paris. Last night you had him on the radio, and he has won every press conference, every interview. He sounds mature beyond his years. But when you're watching him before the microphone and the lights go on, and you're seeing how he interacts with people or how he acts, is he the same way?
Yes. Yeah, he's great. He's unbelievable. I think, like Timmy, the thing that I always would say about Tim, forget how great a player he was and everything else. I always thought Tim was one of, if not the best teammate I ever saw. And it's not that you have to be. There's a lot of great players that they don't cause any problems, but they're not necessarily great teammates. Tim Duncan was as good or the best teammate I ever saw. I think I see that same thing in him. He cares about the guys he plays with. He doesn't want to overshadow them. He doesn't want to be the center of attention. And it was interesting last night. Koulibaly was drafted so much higher than he would have been because he happened to be playing, on Victor's team. And he got the attention. People got a chance to see him play, but he was so happy when he drafted up, moved way up on the charts from what people expected it to be. I just think again, I don't know him. I mean, I've not talked to him twice. I hardly know him at all. But I just, based on what people have said and based on watching him interact, watching him with his family, watching him with the other players in the green room last night, watching him, when he was playing for the Mets, it's really great to see. I mean, his family did a great job raising him. His parents really did a great job, and he obviously took to it. And he cares about other people. He cares about his teammates, which is, a fantastic trait for somebody that's as great a basketball player as he is.
And you look at what his family has done to this point, and the Spurs history says they will do a great job continuing with that. But there's always, and everybody's talked about either bulking up, adding muscle, adding weight. Well, what is your biggest concern with Wemby?
I don't really have a concern. I know that Pop, RC, they're going to figure it out. That coaching staff will figure it out. Could he use more strength? No question he can. But I'm not talking he's got to fill out. He's got to be like Yao or something. No, he doesn't have to put on 100 pounds. He just needs to be wiry strong. He needs to be able to get where he wants to go. And not always just depend on his athleticism. And if somebody's leaning on him, he's got to be able to lean back a little bit. Even if their center of gravity is going to be a lot lower than his. But I was concerned when Kevin Durant came to us in Seattle. I was lucky enough to coach Kevin his rookie year, and Kevin was so thin. I'm like, wow. But again, I think Victor may be stronger than him, and Victor has an advantage having played, 3 years professionally, having played against men. KD was coming out of 1 year at the University of Texas. Now, he was the best college player in the country, and nobody thought that he would struggle. But yeah, he needed the strength. He's much stronger now, but he has a frame, KD, that he just was never going to put on a ton of weight. As much time as he spent in the weight room, and yes, he's stronger now, and so he can get point to point better, or he can defend somebody. You're still not going to be able to stop LeBron from getting wherever the hell he wants to get, but it would seem to me that at some point Victor will get stronger. I know they'll figure it out, like exactly what it is that he needs. I don't know that it's necessarily a lot of pounds or that he's got to be able to press this or press that, but playing in this league, and it's not just the actual, the physical, Jace, getting somewhere, boxing a guy out, not letting somebody turn the corner on you, or you being able to turn the corner on them. It's also playing 82 games and the travel and playing however many minutes he's going to play. And that's going to ramp up. It's not going to be, 40 minutes from day one, but eventually that's where strength matters in this league, that you can get through an 82 game season and then you can play in the playoffs. And Pop was always, ahead of the curve on that, as much as now they call it load management or whatever the hell all the different terms are. Pop knew those teams that he coached were so good that he expected to be playing in April, May, and June. And that's different. When you're adding 20-some games on to that 82-game schedule, you want to have something left in the tank at the end. And that all enters into it from a strength standpoint. So I think there's different types of strength. The Spurs already are on top of that. They've got great people with nutrition and with all of that. But it's not just he needs to put on 35 pounds. He needs to be able to press whatever the hell it is. No, it's the basketball strength that he needs, and it's the ability to transfer to all of a sudden to play 82 games, or if in fact that's how many he's going to play, or however many minutes he's going to play. I just think he's going to be Victor will be a much different player in February and March than he is in October and November, because there's going to be a learning curve, with Pop and the staff learning about him, and Victor learning about the Spurs, the way they're going to play, and his teammates, and all of it. It's going to be evolution, and nobody is better at managing expectations or keeping things under control than Pop. And again, that's where I think Victor's very, very fortunate to be in a situation where you've got somebody who's been down this road many, many times before and has a great feel for the big picture. There's a lot of coaches in the league that are, that it's about today. It's about, what's going to happen next month, what's going to happen this year even. Pop sees the big picture. That's always something that I thought separated San Antonio and RC and Pop and the whole family. There's no question. They keep things in perspective, and Victor is certainly going to need help, keeping things in perspective. And I can't imagine anywhere he could have been where he's going to get that help more readily and with more knowledge behind it than it's going to be in San Antonio.
Certainly is the perfect fit. And we've already seen some changes, PJ, last night on your draft show. PR man Tom James live on the radio. I heard that and almost fell out of the chair. I don't know how you managed to pull that one off, PJ, but well done, my friend.
Believe me, it was Corey's idea, and I thought he was kidding. When Tom sat down, I said to our producer, I said, "Why are we interviewing Tom James? This is a disgrace. That this should not happen." But Corey won the night, and I hate to say it, Tom did a really good job. But again, when you've been retired for however many years he's been retired, Jay, so it was easy for him to get it done. He's going to be delegating to Christian Jordan and all those guys. But it's really, as much as I've been kidding him, it's great. Again, even Tom, there's nothing going to happen that these guys haven't seen before and haven't dealt with it. And it's got to be a really comforting situation if you're Victor or his family.
Absolutely. PJ, always appreciate you taking the time with us, and I'm excited that we're going to get to see you guys and the national media coming back to San Antonio.
Jace, look forward to it. Say hello to Joe and everybody for me.
Will do. PJ Carlesimo joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. They are online at buyersbarricades.com.